This is the episode of Stranger Things 5 that I have been waiting for. Welcome back, everyone, to Grizzly Reviews. My name is Garrett, and today I'm going to be bringing you my spoiler filled review of Stranger Things 5, Episode 6 Escape from Camazotz. I cannot believe this is the third, like, 6, 7, 8, that's all we have left of Stranger Things. There's only 2 more episodes after this. I am just flabbergasted that we're almost reaching the end of this show. This episode was just giving me everything I wanted, plot-wise, resolution-wise, character-wise, and I can't wait to get into it. Let me know all of your thoughts, a spoiler as they may be, about episode 6, and let's jump into the video. I really love most of this episode. It's really up until like the last 5 minutes that I think this episode is fantastic, and then it just falls flat on its face. Getting it out of the way because I don't want to harp on it too much. The last 5 minutes, that scene between Max and Holly, where Max is trying to help Holly figure out how to get like her mind portal open to get back into her body, and I know why they're doing this and I get it. I just really, it's so slow. It's such a long scene. Are we not worried about our lives from Vecna? Could he not show up in his mind palace whenever he wanted to? The lack of tension and like quickness, you need to get back in your body, let's go, is crazy. So am I led to believe that Lucas is just standing there holding Max in the hospital for those 5 minutes it takes for this scene to happen, and then they break off to go into their mind portals, and they just start by slowly walking towards it. Eventually it quickens up to a run, but y'all, hurry up. Which has been my complaint for most of the season, in that the pacing feels really slow. But this episode, thankfully, had a lot of, I'm not going to say resolutions, but actually, I am going to say resolutions. There were a lot of like character resolutions that happened in this episode, and we will see where they go from here. It's nice that characters are making their way back from the upside down. Hopper, Jane, 11, and 8, Collie are back in the regular Earth. I'm going to stop talking about them because I want to talk about this cold open first. This cold open was incredible. And for those complaining, oh, it took so long for Stranger Things 5 to come out. First of all, there was a pandemic. And then with season 4, before season 4 happened. And then with season 5, there was a writer's strike. So the fact that this show survived both of those and still came out is incredible. And the visual effects artists that had to work for the cold open of this episode probably took them 6 months on their own to make everything just for the cold open alone. The reveal that the upside down is essentially a wormhole is crazy, and the shot that like is backing out showing like a huge wide shot of the wormhole itself was astounding. Full on jaw dropping. Wow, I can't believe that reveal happened. And I did get it wrong that that was Henry's journal, and Henry's back room obviously was Dr. Brenner's. I don't know why I ever thought it was Henry's when obviously it's Dr. Brenner's. And then once the like hole in the wormhole is like sucking everything out into this deep black void. RIP to Steve's Beamer, by the way. A gate randomly opens. I don't know why this gate opens. I'm intrigued by this gate opening, but 11, Hopper, and Cully get through it. And the way that 11 is using her powers to like protect them was fantastic. This is my favorite thing I've ever seen 11 do with her powers. It was truly badass. The visual effects in it were amazing. I am shocked Hopper or Cully did not get hit with anything whatsoever. Like even when 11 like broke that tree in half around them, like there weren't any like splinters or anything that hit him or her. Stunning. Something I forgot to talk about in episode 5's video was that 11 and Hopper have a conversation about Hopper willingly being open to off himself with the bombs when he went to go kill Vecna. He says that it was like a backup just in case anything went wrong, but like we knew that that's what he was intending, was to off himself and Vecna in that moment. Like there's no way that he himself with like a gun is gonna off Vecna. There wasn't any resolution in last episode or this episode as to their argument about that, which I don't necessarily need. I don't know if we'll get any in these next two episodes because Eleven and Hopper didn't really talk. It was Eleven and Mike had discussions, and then Hopper and Joyce had discussions. Eleven and Mike talked about their future, and Eleven confessed to the military base and the project that they're trying to remake Dr. Brenner's work down there in the Upside Down. Side note, by the way, if we demolish the Upside Down, which is the goal in the show, I assume, are we gonna go back and save all those pregnant women down there? Who are we gonna go save in the Upside Down before we destroy it? Now, Kali is giving villainous energy. Not necessarily villain, but I know that she doesn't want these projects to be redone. Like, if they capture 11 and use her blood, they can make more special children. So is 8 gonna try to at some point kill 11? Is like her goal is to prevent this from happening again. And by the context of that, I just don't know if she wants to like remove 11 from the living world or just like protect her. I don't know what we're doing with Kali. I'm intrigued by the next two episodes as to what might happen with 8. I'm so ready for shit to go down. But back to 11 and Mike, it's likely that they're not going to have like a happy ending together unless it's like in complete hiding and they both won't get to experience the outside world so much. Again, there's only like 3 hours and 25 minutes with credits, including for the next two episodes, runtime wise. So I'm just like incredibly nervous. They're not going to be able to wrap this up. Joyce and Hopper had to talk about the difficulty of parenting. This is when we're back in Hopper's cabin and Will is still passed out. He was passed out after episode 5. I'm glad I remembered he didn't wake up. Like, great job, me. And, like, I get why Joyce and Hopper kind of have the same story arc this episode. They're both parents, they're in a couple together. They are trying different parenting techniques with their kids, and they're both learning to have to trust and let their kids go a little bit more, which like makes sense as an arc. I just want something more interesting, I guess. But that's the problem when you go 5 seasons on a show and you kind of lose steam with your characters. Like Joyce didn't have an arc in season 4. She was just there to save Hopper. Her character didn't develop whatsoever in season 4. So she's just been stagnant really since season 2. Yeah, there's stuff she does in season 3 that is like character development and stuff. Like that's when her and Hopper like really like decide to go on a date with each other. But really it was just her arguing with Hopper and there wasn't like much character development after that. There's not much more we can do with Joyce, which is why I'm worried she might die. I don't know. Everyone could die, but I don't want everyone to die. I'm glad that the spyglass meant something and led to something. I'm glad that every time Holly kept it on and just called herself stupid for keeping it on, that like led to something good. I hate that she would like, self-deprecate herself that much, like so often. We get a little bit more about Henry's backstory. I love the Boy Scout iconography again with this episode. I don't remember if it was this one or last one where we saw some boys' life magazines, which were stuff that I had when I was in the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. I really like those. It was cool to just see them live in the world that I'm seeing on television. In Holly and Max's attempt to escape Camazotz, the title, of course, they go out into the desert area, and Holly figures out that the spyglass and the breakage of like the cover on it maps up with the cave that Max lives in. So in the attempt to like line them up perfectly, she finds this hidden compartment in the ground. It's like a secret tunnel thing. In there, they find a scientist looking guy, probably working with Dr. Brenner, probably creating the particles that go into Henry that give him his powers in this moment. We don't get to see what happens after Henry kills the guy because the guy fucking shoots him in the hand. I'm assuming he's thinking like he's a Russian or something, but like, holy fuck. That guy deserved the rock beating that he got immediately after. Thankfully, in this like tunnel system, they are able to find their escape into the Mind Palace Red area. And I'm just happy that they're safe and maybe they'll make it into their portals. I don't know. They took for fucking ever to get there. So I don't know. What I love about this episode is how everyone that's still in the upside down after the cold open has some amazing character resolution. Dustin and Steve, oh my gosh. Dustin made me cry this episode. Dustin gets my MVP for this episode. I'm going to share it with Nancy actually. It's a two-parter. Nancy and Dustin get the MVP this episode. Dustin equating his best friendship in Steve to Eddie and his heartbreak when Steve tries to use that ladder to go over like the stairs that are melting down is truly so sad. Gaten Matarazzo's performance right there is so heartbreaking. Like you don't feel like he's this 20-year-old acting in this moment. He feels like the 15, 16-year-old that he's supposed to be. He's so heartbroken. And the way that Steve just like melts into him and like embraces him and his tone of voice of realizing this is just a little kid. I'm sobbing. Ding dong, the witch is dead. And by which, I mean Nancy and Jonathan's relationship. Woot woot. That was so stupid. In one of the best scenes of the season so far, we get an 8-minute long scene between Nancy and Jonathan, which is essentially them breaking up. So after Nancy shot the glowing orb in the sky, it essentially radioactive started melting and messing with like the reality that they're in. So they fell through a couple floors in the building into the room in season 4 where Dr. Brenner was having all of the numbers fight each other. The door handle melted off. Nancy stabs the door, and more of this like plastic goop starts like flowing in. It comes down on the roof, so they get on this table and they start telling each other things that they've been hiding from each other, and it's a really sweet scene. Now, are Nancy's things that she's telling Jonathan more justified than what Jonathan is telling her? Absolutely. But that's because Nancy is a fully realized character. Jonathan is just stuck in what he's at, and he's essentially becoming his ex-father in the sense of like probably not really good for a relationship. He fucking took a sweater of Nancy's to Goodwill. What? But anyways, the first time I watched this episode, because I've watched it twice now before making this video, I really loved this scene. I was astounded at how long this scene was. It must have been 10 pages at least of writing in the script. And this is the conversation we've been waiting for them to have for 2 seasons, since the beginning of season 4, when Jonathan knew he wasn't making the same college that Nancy went in, and at the end of season 4 when they just kind of kept hiding things from each other. So yeah, it's a breakup scene, but they're really happy about breaking up, and the way he unproposes to her is really sweet. I do genuinely enjoy both the acting from Charlie and Natalia Dyer in this scene. What I love about this scene as well is if you like pay attention to the background and everything, you notice that the pooling of the sludge is getting less and less. So by the time that the unproposal has gone through, Nancy just throws away the ring and it like clinks on the floor. And this is what I have to say with Sean Levy's direction this episode is this whole scene was fantastic. I love the way it ends with the ring in the foreground in focus with them hugging in the background knowing that they survived. It's just really beautiful stuff. Also, the score in this scene, especially when the ring gets brought out, there are some like choral like stuff happening. I really love the music in the scene as well. What we learn in this episode is that Max isn't in a coma, she's in a Vecna trance, which is what Will currently is now. Robin pieces together that Holly, Will, and Max are all in a Vecna trance, which is how they're able to talk to each other in their mental world. We get another really great scene between Vecna and Will. I love the way that Vecna calls him William with his like growly voice. We gotta reveal this episode that doesn't really make sense in logically in my brain. So when Vecna is holding Will up against the wall, he reveals that in season 2 it was Will under the command of Vecna while he was sleeping that dug all the tunnels in Hawkins. But the way that it's shown is like Will is sleeping and then it flashes to like a camera going through the tunnels. So did Will create that in his mind? Did he physically get out of bed every night and go dig all these tunnels? I really don't understand what the purpose of telling us how the tunnels were made is supposed to like give. Is it a cool reveal? Yes, but logically in my brain with the information that I know, I don't understand what's going on with the tunnels. Secret tunnel throughout Hawkins. Secret tunnels. I even loved in episode 4 when the main like military guy in Hawkins that's been chasing around 11 since last season, his reaction to learning that there are tunnels under Hawkins, very funny. I think what's not helping my opinions of this season is that I'm doing an episode by episode. So my frustration with Robin not really telling Vicky what's going on finally has been resolved with Robin completely telling Vicky everything that happened. Also, how did they know that Robin took those benzos from the dude's hospital room? Are there cameras in the hospital? I haven't seen cameras in the hospital. How do they know that it was Robin who took all that? Vicky fully thinks that Robin is a druggie and that everything she's saying isn't true, but Robin correctly brings up, dude, there are always like there's an X, the military's in Hawkins. Why do you not believe anything I'm saying? The military's also at the hospital, so while they're trying to grab Robin out of there, demo dogs arrive, and thankfully they're just here to get Max. Which is what Vecna was doing, like searching in Will's brain, trying to get inside and figure out where Max is at this moment. So it was like really cool to see the demo dogs show up, and they were ferocious this episode. One of them is just grabbing onto a guy and just like swinging him around. It's really grotesque. I'm glad we got to see more destruction from the demo dogs, who actually act like dogs. Because once we get into the basement, Lucas is running around carrying Max. I can't believe Sadie Sink. I wonder if there was like a stunt double or a dummy that he was having to hold. I doubt he's just running with Sadie Sink in his arms. And the direction with the demo dog chase once they get into the basement, it's mostly a long oneer of them going through the hallways, and the thrill of a shadow of a demo dog popping up or one coming up to the glass in a door. I really love the demo stuff happening in the hospital, and I'm glad that Vicky got to do some horror stuff. Like, it's really cool for that character to be involved in the scares that are going on. Robin's world is filling up with more and more people that are involved in what's happening, and I'm really happy with that for her. They have a really nice exchange of Vicky saying sorry that I thought you were a druggie, Robin apologizing for all the lies, and that the Enzo's date that she brought up is something that she actually wants to do. So, like, I'm just really happy for those two. Slightly worried running up that hill is getting overused, but I understand why they had to use it in this episode to get Max to her portal. I'm sure she's gonna wake up. I doubt that's not gonna happen. And then Karen Wheeler comes in to save the day. She struggles to get out of her room. She looks at the oxygen tanks, put ones in a dryer with the heat on. And this is what I'm saying when the demo dogs are actually acting like dogs. One of the demo dogs whimpers and makes a head tilt right before the explosion goes off. And I'm just like, you're actually just a sweet little puppy controlled by Vecna. You're so sweet. I want to protect. And then this really weird hero shot of Karen Wheeler stumbling through the smoke in the basement after the explosion. I didn't like it. It looked really weird. I kind of think that's going to be all of my thoughts on this sixth episode of Stranger Things 5. There's only 2 episodes left to go. I did really enjoy this episode until the last 5 minutes that just really dragged by. So, once again, let me know all your thoughts on Stranger Things 5, Episode 6 in the comments. I can't wait to keep talking about this. Episode 7 should be coming out tomorrow or in 2 days. We'll see. Otherwise, just make sure you're following me here on TikTok, YouTube, all of those places. If you like this video, give it a like. I should be saying this at the beginning, but I'm doing what I'm doing. And until next time, goodbye.